everyone? Good morning. Another episode of Damage Control. My name is Mookie, and joined over here today with Darth man. And we're gonna kind of go into what's been going on with Marvel Strike Force for between the two of us for last week, and also going into the blog post. But I'm heavily going to be talking about the Gambit Raid, just kind of getting Darth's opinion off of that event, and maybe to see what's going to be going on in the Horizon or what we can kind of forecast or predict. But yeah, with that being said, let me go ahead and introduce Darth. How are you doing, Darth?
Good. Thank you, Mookie.
So, all right, let me lower down this music here. Shut it off. All right, so let me first just kind of jump right into the gameplay here as I'm kind of navigating these windows, making sure you see what we see. All right, so let's talk about Gambit, man. So, we're talking right before the show, just talking about kind of red star levels. What's up, difference? Good morning to you. So yeah, good morning to y'all too on Twitch. I've kind of overcast that a little bit. So we are live on Twitch, and I appreciate you guys checking us out. Y'all can always jump in, chime in, ask any questions, or send your thoughts that way. We'll share it with the show. But yeah, so with Gambit, this is an interesting character. I mean, it's for me, you really get to kind of taste the Unlimited X-Men whenever you get into the Cosmic Crucible. And it's been pretty interesting this week as far as on the Cosmic Crucible side of things. That'll be the second part of our show that we'll record. But I only got him at 3 stars, and I couldn't remember what star level did you get your Gambit at?
6.
You got him at 6. And I wish, to me, I think overall, when we look at the Unlimited X-Men, the higher the star level that you get from all of them is just going to be an insane team. And that's probably why it's weird. I have like this conspiracy theory, like the bigger the need of the red star character, the harder it is to get, in general. So, yeah, my Sunfire only got him at 3 star. Gambit, I got him at 3. Dazzler was kind of lucky getting the 5th one, which she's probably the least one impactful one I have at the red star. So I just kind of laugh at that. And then Phantom X, he's the tank one, and I've been seeing some crazy videos on him with mobile going on his Cosmic Crucible and how beefy. I think Phantom X was like beating 2 of his characters on this last Crucible video he uploaded. Yeah.
I think it was Colossus and Phoenix, and Phantom X soloed them.
Yeah. So anyways, so I guess I have a lot of excitement about them. And this is a real sneaky. I'm speeding in my mind here by talking about this team a little bit. Because it's just about the whole apocalypse event. I think for me, this early on, I'm willing to say that any of the Horseman teams is just a team to go all in with. That's just my personal take. So I think this is one that you can definitely go ahead and resource out. They're going to be kind of long-term play, because at the very end, once Apocalypse is available for us, they've already mentioned that you're going to need each team, not only the Horseman characters, but you're going to need the actual team themselves to go in on whatever DD5 kind of concept is what I'm guessing is what's going to play to unlock him. So I'm sure you're going to have to go through different nodes with different character traits and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. Are you kind of within the same thought process a little bit, Darth, or what's your take on the Limited X-Men?
No, I think that's absolutely right, man. I think they're crazy. And what I can see more than anything is I can remember a year ago they were telling us that every single team is going to be important. We're not going to have any more skippable teams. And I laughed, and then I skipped Young Avengers. And I was wrong. They're absolutely right, and they're making it that way. And it's I didn't think they were going to be able to manufacture this feeling, but every new character that comes out is important right now, because they're either going to be on a Horseman team or they're going to be on a team that unlocks a Horseman.
Yeah.
It feels right now that literally any characters that they pull out, they're going to make you immediately need to use for either a Scourge event, or they will be on a Horseman team. So it does. If you want to get Apocalypse and if you want to do well on all these things, yeah, there is literally no skippable new characters anymore.
Yep. And then with that, then you kind of go into the aspect of just thinking about how difficult it is to even get some of these characters now. So we know that the month-long event is Dazzler, right? And
Right.
interesting thing is we're kind of around the crunch time. I would say that we're probably in the same marking. Are you at milestone 38 as well? Or you know where you're
I'd
at?
have to check. Pull up my game real quick. We should be very similar because I haven't purchased anything that gives me any I haven't purchased any disco balls.
Yeah. I don't know if I have. I don't think so either. But
Rolling Rebel 38.
okay.
Yeah, 30. My points are 38,223.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the thing. We know, well, I mean, this is just, well, I guess we'll keep talking about the current already. I'm like really anxious about the blog post and jumping on that one. But yeah, so anyways, we have her. We're about to approach and unlock her, and I guess the big ticket and being able to clear those milestones is going to be in regards to getting this glimmer bracelet that's on this current week of the Gambit milestone. So we're doing pretty good here. I would say like now this has became an alliance overall point system here where we kind of show everybody off as far as on the participation. But the so I'm assuming you should be at milestone 11 too, right? I mean, there's not a way for me to cheat over on you on this current milestone.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
we're at the exact same milestone.
Yeah, we get the
Yeah,
same points
because
and all of that.
yeah,
Okay. So last week was different in which it was individual based. And I know I kind of post checked with our alliance there because I was real curious about where they were landing at. Because I had that want to go away moment last week where I launched the Gambit Raid incorrectly with no difficulty. We're just on nothing. We just freelanced
yeah,
it.
we did a normal difficulty node on raid on accident.
Yeah, and we had to catch up. I mean, it was just one of those moments there overall that I'm bringing back up because just hearing the settlement and going on with the general community there, it's just different aspects of difficulties which people run into. So someone like me that can make a mistake by hitting the wrong raid, people not participating, um, people not having the right characters to participate, like the right strong not strong characters, and then having to farm up people again or put the resources on characters they didn't want to. There's just lots of events and things that were just kind of making things difficult. And this was overall like an alliance aspect of completing that raid. So I think overall, it's just such a weird feeling in my mind. I'm just thinking about like, easy, like, what's the right thing to do? And I mean, the right thing to do really was not to have this team aspect of the milestone. I mean, in theory, I mean, I don't even know how to pose the question. I was gonna say, like, if you were in the hands of Scopely and kind of coming up with the concept, I mean, I know the answer is probably like, no, you never would have thought about that. But in theory, I mean, do you like the theory aspect? The person that's trying to push this through Scopely about having as a team alliance event. I mean, what do you think would have made it better, or what do you think they should have done? I mean, do you have any opinions off
I
of
think that
it? Or?
Yeah, I do. I think that the way to make this better is to give 100% rewards at 90%
Oh,
of completion because I know for us and for a lot of alliances, um, it can come down to just a couple guys that have real lives and real life things to do, and they can't get on 4 times a day to make sure they're doing everything. Um, and so I find myself, and for our personal experience, we have guys like that. We have guys with important jobs that do important things. They're not like me that can hop on anytime they want and just look. So I find myself having to call on guys a little bit at the end, and they're pulling through for us. Like, so we have been 100%ing our level 6 every day, and we've been doing it under 24 hours. And where it looks, if we keep it up and we can do it for the next five or six raids that we get off, or 4 raids maybe, we should be really close to, if not completing, the second milestone.
yeah. And there was the big hot topic was this particular node right here, which I already cleared. And it was funny, I just did it this morning. I think you're on the right side, right, of the club section.
I'm on the right side, so I don't have that node.
Dude, this is out of the whole time that we have been running this event. I never first faced the Web Warriors until today. And it's insane. You know how when you go against the Wakandan team on Cosmic Crucible and they just go and go and go and go and you never get a turn? That's exactly what you experienced right here. And my team just got a beating, and we're on difficulty level 6, and this node was just crazy. But luckily, I did have now that we had the new characters this week. I was able to kind of survive the barrage of them just going at me. It was crazy. But anyways, yeah. So then you had that node right there was going to prevent people from getting 100% clearance. Just things of stuff as far as issues going on. But yeah, I mean, I was reading it. There's a lot of the biggest thing off of this whole event is that you really have to analyze it on your individual team alliances. Like, meaning, whatever you're at on the competitive side, whatever your goals are, you should be able to hit it. But then at like, how hard do you want to go? Do you want to go into 7? Do you want to go into 8 or whatever? What's up, Mo Steph Isley? Um, so like, yeah, anyway, so I mean, so like when you have to go into the whole planning of it, if you're not properly planning, you're setting yourself up for indirect failure, And there was someone on Reddit today that said, like, at the second week milestone, that if someone goes to difficulty level 4 and go 100% on it, that they will still be able to achieve that milestone. And I'm sure that's probably gathering the new week day-to-day rewards that they're also trying to get into us. But they still comes into a concept of like, what if they're an incomplete alliance? What if they only have 20? And that was the other part that I was reading. It's like, because it's Gambit Raid, they're losing members. They're not able to recruit enough in time to complete. So this just started like, when you talk about layers of peeling an onion and just kind of seeing different things and just snowball effect, it was just kind of, it's interesting from an outside part. I guess at the end of the day, I just want to say thank you to our alliance for me starting on the bad foot and now looking achievable. Because man, I had that go away moment where just Southwest commercial came in and I was like digging myself into a hole. And when I made that mistake, and of course, then looking at the point system, I knew that that first week was going to be unachievable for us to complete the milestone because of that one little hiccup. But overall, I mean, we pushed through it. We're able to get into like some people range. I think our range was like 16 and 19, depending on how active the individuals were. I was able to get up to 18 last week. Is that what you hit to, Darth?
Yes. Yes, I got the big disco ball
Yeah.
portion. That was where the glimmer bracelet is this week.
Yeah. And for my lines to catch me, I mean, I felt bad. Like, I didn't want to admit that I hit that milestone 18. Because even at
Mhm.
that, like, I know I'm hitting on this rate, but there were just so many layers of like frustrations and depending on what direction I want to go. Because the other part of it last week was like, here I'm trying to set up a lane thing that's best of our team structure. Like, okay, who's the best on the outside, who's best in the middle lane, and lo and behold, what I'm also doing, I'm cheating people of nodes, you know.
Mhm.
And I was very indirect. I didn't purposely want to do that. I was kind of going
Oh.
off of what the best part of like, okay, I need someone to go in the outside lane because we need the strong people up here in the middle. But yet the strong people in the middle were only getting about like 9 nodes, where some people on the outside were getting up to 14 nodes. It was just an ugly feeling, man. I mean, overall, like trying to set it
Well,
up. I don't know. Go ahead.
I had an inside lane, and I did feel that. I was like, man, I feel like I'm only getting maybe 7 nodes every day, and when I'm getting on, I'm fighting Rufus for our shared nodes, trying to get there first and get them done so I can get this thing.
Hmm.
I do like that they changed it to an alliance based thing. I like it for that part. For the I'm somebody's not getting a whole bunch of extra points because they're doing an outside lane where we've only shared a few nodes for them because the inside lanes were harder for our group.
Hmm.
And that's what it came down to. It came down to a few key characters. We didn't have a whole bunch of guys that had a great big strong OG Star Lord to run a clubs lane, or not OG Star Lord,
T'Challa.
Star Lord to chop.
Yeah.
Like, and that was key. If you do, and that's I find myself trying to do what you do, and I'm going through looking at guys' rosters, and I'm going, is there even 6 of us that have a great big Star Lord T'Challa? If there's not, then we're gonna have to figure something else out for these.
Yeah.
And we have a few more than that, but most of our guys, I know you and I personally. I think you've taken them to 16 too. So we have big, massive Star Lords that carried us through those nodes, basically.
Hmm.
At least for the first week. Now that they put the Dabros both in there together, those nodes have really, for me, become a lot easier. But I also don't have that one Web Warrior node that can screw you though.
Yeah, no, and like I said, luckily I didn't really face it too much. Sometimes Morlick was taking that lane, so I don't know if he faced the Web Warriors. We kind of alternated. So amongst our alliance, I mean, we communicated, we did different things, and we were active participating as far as communication goes. And I think that's another thing where some other alliances may lack, and then they kind of suffer from it. So it's just it's weird, because there was another Reddit post where a guy was saying like, I go to this game to escape. I escape reality as far as getting away and dealing with people. I just want to deal with myself, my game, my play, and then here I am forced to talk to people that I don't know. So there's those other type of personalities out there that kind of don't like the concept of it. And I used to be one of those kind of people, just kind of being real kind of quiet, want to play. I just kind of broke out my social aspect of it because I mean overall here you and I doing shows off of this game, and so it has that side of things too, which it can bring some camaraderie and bring new friends. So again, it's all perception depending on how you take it there, but it's very interesting. But let's kind of get off of that last week. And then, like you kind of already alluded to this week. So this week it is easier overall. It is going to be achievable goal. I mean, it looks like we're getting down. I think we probably need about what I haven't kept the math up, but maybe what 3 more 100% completions or so, probably to get to the 18, if not into 20. I mean, we're kind of creepy.
We're gonna try to do it however many days you'll have 4 or 5 more times, man. The goal is for us to complete the whole thing this time.
Yeah.
We got 4. Ooh, we can launch 5 raids, I think.
Yeah,
within the time. So if we launch 5 raids and complete them at 100%, hopefully we clear it all the way through 20. I'd like to get everybody that Elite 5 at the end and all those, whatever. I don't even know what it's called, the new unique that's for Gambit. I don't even remember what it is. The one at the bottom.
So
I can't remember what it's called.
I'm looking at all this, and we just kind of talk about like the whole alliance communication and stuff like that. So I'm gonna kind of pose a question for someone that was out there on Reddit. I mean, I don't have it up on my PC, but I did. I was reading this morning, so I'm gonna kind of pose a question because it was interesting for me and how he kind of phrased it. He was talking about giving us more tools. I don't know if this is it, but I don't have to read. I mean, it was a long post. But basically, it was in regard to like, hey, I've been around the game for 4 years, and I have people retiring from the game. I mean, all of us shared his experience, right, at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
So he's talking about all of that, and then what he goes on and talks about is that now that he's become an alliance leader, just kind of been there longevity. Now he's up on top, but he's still filling in gaps, and he feels like now it's hurting him, especially during this specific raid right here where he's asking for help to complete and keep his team afloat. His advice, he's just asking like, what can I do? I mean, is there anything that you can think off the cup, or he's just kind of bad timing situation, or how would you kind of pose it if he was asking you directly, Darth, what I do and trying to get new recruits to join me and try to help us complete these milestones?
I'm not a good recruiter, and we have a really, really fantastic recruiter for our alliance right now, and I don't know how he does it. I have no idea. It's amazing. I get a message from a guy telling me, "Hey, look, the game's too much for me. Real life's coming up. I'm gonna have to bounce out because I don't want to hold the alliance down, and I don't even know if I'm gonna log in anymore." And I shoot our guy a message, and last time it was less than 24 hours left. He says, "Here's some guys." And I think the key that he does is to be honest. That's all I've ever told him. Don't puff up what we are, because the last thing we want is for somebody to come in and then leave in a week. Don't overestimate yourself. And what I've learned personally as a leader is learn that if you want a full alliance, which is important, every once in a while you're going to have to reach down and grab guys that aren't ready at the moment. And we have a couple of these guys too. They weren't quite ready for Doom 1.1, and so we stuck them on lanes with great big guys and said, "Look, we'll bring you on and we'll get you all the rewards that'll get you all the teal gear and all the blue ions, and then." But you need, in exchange, you've got to work on your raid teams for the alliance. Like, you have to bring your raid teams up to snuff, because we're not going to just stop here. We're going to continue on, and we're going to go 2.3 eventually and things like that. And they have. The guys that we've brought on that were lower TCP, that weren't quite ready to do it, they all got the rewards and immediately hopped on. And now for us, they're guys that are completing the raids no problem. We don't have any deficiencies in any of our raid lanes like that anymore, because we're not carrying anybody, because they're all caught up. And so I think that may be one of the things. You're going to find somebody more willing to do more things if they think they are now in a bigger place than they might should be. So if you think that these guys are used to completing 2.2, I got to show that I can do in 2.1, and I've got to keep that up because, man, it's nice to be here. It's nice to get these new rewards. It's nice to deal with higher end things, because a lot of these guys are coming from alliances that don't hardly ever have 24 members. They're not completing their World Warrior milestones even. They've come from completely casual alliances. And those guys seem to want to work extra hard to stay there, because we've shown them a new kind of game where it is a different kind of game. If you play with 24 guys that are competing all the time, group milestones become easier, wars become more fun, raids become more fun and easier because everybody's completing it as a group. As where if you're in an alliance where not everybody's doing that and 6 guys are carrying the whole alliance, that's no fun. And we just got a group of guys that came in. That was another one of the gets we got. It came from an alliance just like that. They're all really good. None of them have low TCPs or anything like that, which is actually a surprise. But they came from a completely casual alliance, it feels like. And it feels like they like not having to do everything and be the top contributor and everything all the time. They still are. That's how good they are. But I think not having to, and having a bunch of guys like that, not having to rely only on 3 or 4 guys to get things done, changes the game and makes the game a better place to be.
Yeah.
So as far as that's concerned, being truthful and being willing to take somebody that may not be quite ready for what your alliance is doing and helping them get to where you are is probably the best recruiting bets. Because I've seen it more than once where the recruiters puff their stats and 2 weeks later the guys are gone because it's not what they were told. They were sold a false bill of goods.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that too. I mean, I've seen some of them hype up their fancy infographics too, or their little team decor, whatever you call it. It's just like their banners out there. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of segue out of it a little bit and talking about the whole alliance raids and that being like the main. I think that is the main selling point, as far as trying to get some recruits out there and, like you said, being honest about it. But here's something that came live this week, and yay, okay, cool. I got 10 energy. I wanted to showcase it here, and it's the
On the bio side,
yeah, I got the bio side. I can do it. I can jump
you
right
can
on
sim
in the
it.
beginning. Yeah, exactly. I'm jumping right into the sim. So, so have you been using this feature? You're on the mutant side to start off with. I mean, how
And
have you
so
been using the sim?
I don't use the sim on the mutant lanes, and I don't use the sim on the tech lanes. I think I have simmed all 3 bio lanes successfully in one shot before.
Yeah.
The mystic lanes, I can sim the first 2, but I seem like I have to sim the second one twice with different teams. I have 2 huge mystic teams that can go, but it seems like I can't just one shot it if I just go in and sim. So it costs me twice the energy than it normally would, but 10% of the time. So it seems to be worth it. But yeah, the only full sim is the the bio lane. The tech lane is a no go. The mutant lane is a no go. And skill lane, I feel that I have to set up in a certain way that I don't feel comfortable simming that, because I need to go into the second node with proper cooldowns and things like that in order for me to have success.
Yeah. No, you hit everything that I do too. I mean, I only simmed the bio and the mystic. Mystic was I was able to get through it, but recently I mean I G16 both Icarus and Circe. I think that has a lot to do with it now. But and look, Woody's already there. Yeah, so it's an interesting feature. I'd like, I don't know. I guess early points for me, I like it. I like that we have the option flat out. At least it's there. Now it's up to you and how you want to decide if you want to gamble or not on certain nodes, and depending on what difficulty you're at on the raids. But I know for a fact once Greek comes back and they got the sim feature, I'm just simming my ass through those. And but yeah, I mean, I like it. I'm glad they introduced it. I think there was kind of mixed feelings about it. Part of it was just there that I was kind of looking at, like, why we only have 8. Like you
Right.
have a cap off. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense.
Nope.
But I guess the sense is they want to force the game playing, the screen game playing time. I guess that's what that's all about. But anyways. But yeah, so let's segue into the Friday's blog post now. So kind of wrapping up towards this first part of our show. I'm gonna breeze through the blog post here a little bit because I don't think there was like too many big topics to talk about, other than one in particular we'll highlight. But yeah, so they go into and they start talking about next month long milestone character, and that's going to be Jane Foster, and Mighty Thor is what her name is on the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me pause a little bit because I'll be honest, I don't like the month long character releases. I mean, I just don't like it. I mean, how about for you? Does it matter to you? I mean, because you and I, we unlock it in the beginning, so it kind of doesn't hit as it does to the free to play approach players. But even at that, even me getting her unlocked early and so forth, it's just a drag. Like I don't like to know that a milestone event is a month long. That's where it just hits me. It's like fuck, that just takes forever. I mean, what do you
Yeah,
think about it? Same or
I think it's tedious. I think that a month-long event is tedious, and it's a big event with a bunch of micro events inside of it. So let's say you fail one of the micro events that are inside of it. Now you're screwed for the major month-long event. Like it's such a buzzkill for me. Like it's like going down by 4 touchdowns in the first quarter. It's like, well, what the hell? Why would I even try? I'm most likely not going to get my end result anyway. I'm not going to be able to clear all these milestones. It lessens the excitement for the event that's supposed to hold excitement. Like that's why you have events, to keep people engaged, to keep them excited with your game. And a month-long event becomes one of those things where how exciting is it if I'm not on my game for a month? Like to get and literally the end rewards are pretty good. Like there's whole pieces of teal gear in there and stuff like that, but it's not anything spectacular. There's not an Elite 7 sitting down there. There's not 100 Dazzler shards at the end. Um, so it's I don't think it's the correct way to do an event. I think that the excitement level is not what it should be, and it becomes too tedious to be as fun as they wanted it.
yeah. Yeah, and so they break it up and you hit it. So it is a bunch of events all rolled, micro events rolled into this big one. So it's 2 alliance milestones. So we're gonna have to deal with that. So it kind of gets back into the main topic today about just kind of alliance recruiting, alliance setting up. I mean, so you gotta just be mindful about that. Who knows what that's gonna partake or entail. Then you got the 4 main milestones and 5 quick rumble milestones. So that's how you're gonna start earning like the little particular pieces to whatever. I didn't look into what the little emblem is going to be. I'm sure some here. I can't remember.
Mjolnir fragments.
Something like that. Yeah. So those
Hammer
fragments.
fragments. I can't say the hammer's name correctly. Hammer fragments.
Just say hammer. Yeah. I don't know. All right. So that's the number 1 or 2, 1A, 1B kind of highlight of what's going on in this blog post here. And it goes into all the points and the rewards and all that kind of stuff for those who want to start kind of starting their spreadsheets. And then this one right here, they start talking about Sunfire. So his event is going to be rolling out right on the same time as that Mighty Thor's event starts on June 30th. So that's just right around the corner here. So here's his milestone event points as you start adding up for Sunfire. Then we go into the next thing. Here's all the rewards. And I really want to get into what they talk about the gold rush. It's funny, like now they're like talking about all these gold, but people are running out of training mats, right? I know you're on the
I've
side of the
got
fence.
12 million gold and like 30 something gold orbs right now, and literally 0 training mats. 0 training mat orbs. 0.
Yeah,
The problem is not gold anymore. At least not. I don't understand how it could be, unless you're literally buying everything from the store every time you see it. Like there's no way for me to spend that amount of gold. I can't hit my 2 million a day that I used to like to spend because I have no training mats for it.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I thought was interesting. Yeah, because I feel the same way. I have, as I whisper a little bit, over 100 gold orbs saved now. So
It doesn't do anything for me anymore. It's like if I have 30, you have 200. If I have 30, that means there's a problem and we have too many.
yeah, I have a lot going through. And,
I like opening my orbs.
part is the milestone, right? Like the web store gives you some free gold orbs here on certain type of stuff. I mean, it's weird. If it feels like they're just kind of putting like little gold orbs in your pocket here and there on these little milestone things you kind of achieve. But I digress off of that. So here's the big one right here. the hero Asgardians, and the third Horseman. You screenshotted this one was funny. You screenshotted it right when I screenshotted. I was about to share it to the Alliance at the same time. You beat me to it by a few minutes, and it is a big deal. This whole game in itself is a journey as far as trying to get into the end game, which to keep moving that goalpost further back. But ultimately, that's what your goal is to kind of get to end game content. And what that is right here is all about the Horseman and the Apocalypse. So they already advised or gave us a heads up as far as that the third Horseman has been confirmed and it's war. And then you're going to need the following, you're going to need the following team right here. And this is going to be the hero Asgardians for that difficulty nodes 5 and 10 or 5 plus. But on nodes 5 and 10 is where you're going to start using that hero Asgardian. And then the other two teams are yet to come. I was kind of guessing a little bit to myself as far as who the next two teams were. And it was just something I had in my mind. I didn't write down on a note. But I'm going to think back in my memory bank here. But I mean, if you were to, do you have any guesses who you think the next two teams may be? Because at least in my theory, and to help you, I should pull up the gameplay a little bit. My theory was just how this last, or I should say, I mean, it's still kind of a work in progress. But right now, we currently have Young Avengers. We have Inhumans, and then we have A-Force. But I noticed, I don't know if it's going to be the same concept, but I hope it is the same concept where you got players kind of intertwining with each other. So now, talking out loud, that do you know where I'm kind of going with? As like, who would intertwine with the Asgardian? Who would intertwine with Thor?
Avengers, of course.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yep. And that's who I'm thinking too. I'm thinking like the team within the Avengers, and how did they label it? It's if we go on to Thor's trait here, Wave 1. Yeah, I'm wondering they're going to bring back Wave 1 as a requirement like they did in Humans. You know what I mean?
I would be okay with a Wave 1 requirement because that means it comes with a rework, most likely.
Yep.
And who doesn't love Wave 1? I mean, if you love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you gotta love your Wave 1 Avengers. That's part of what made me love it so much, was the very first Avengers movie.
Yeah. So when you think about this Wave 1 team right here, I think, is your Hulk 7 red?
Just like yours, but he's Gear 14.
Okay, yeah.
Now you bring that up, and I did watch a rumor video this week about a Power Armor rework, or at least a tech rework, from Tana this last week that involved Iron Man. So
there you go.
You're making me think. You're making me think extra hard now.
Right? It doesn't start getting like that buzz a little bit. I mean,
right, you're pushing me down the rabbit hole, bro.
I know, yeah, man. Hey, well, because my excitement's there, and then we kind of, it's weird. We kind of tend to think alike, or we tend to think alike about certain things like this within the game, and I don't. It just feels that way to me, man. When I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, Thor, he has his team. They already announced it. It's gonna be that Hero Guardians. He has ties to Wave 1 Avengers. They do need some rework going on. And if there is a rework with Iron Man and Hulk, and that's been the biggest rumor, then to me, then that would be the third team. Is going to be that new whatever team they come up with. That's just my early guess. I don't have any ties to anything. This is all speculation, but it's also hopeful speculation. So that's kind of where, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyways, that's just something I just was thinking about there. Wanted to share. Let me bring up the blog posts again.
See, your thought sounds way smarter than mine. Mine is less thought out. I just immediately went, "Oh, they'll put the Ravagers on there, baby."
Yeah.
Because they hadn't used Star-Lord T'Challa yet. It is another war offense team. But it's a little old for what they've been doing. But I don't know that they're releasing new teams as fast as they're releasing these Scourge events, at least enough. So I think that you have a really smart thought process there, way smarter than mine.
It's I want to say smart. It's hopeful. The way I would put it is hopeful. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, but you at least followed clues. I just looked at my roster and went, it could be the Ravagers, because we know now a lot of people haven't built Star-Lord T'Challa up. That was the last quote unquote skippable team.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I have big investment in them, and they do certain things, but it's almost niche war things. It's
Yeah.
not. They're not an over powerful war team that I can take in against 7 of the different teams out there.
I know I kind of halfway skipped over them. I only focused on 2 characters, and the rest were just sitting on the bench. I didn't even work up Yondu. Um, but anyways, all right. But that's the big news. I mean, those to me, those are the big news. Just looking into the month milestones as far as with the Mighty Thor, Sunfire, and then of course start preparing it. So I'm gonna start building up my Hero as Guardians. They're looking pretty excellent as a defensive team. So you can't go wrong there if you're into war. Um, and that's about it. It kind of talk about some updates. I'm not going to get into that part of it. So those are just kind of highlights. Unless was there something else that you wanted to talk about on the blog post, or did we kind of hit on the things you're interested in as well?
That's it. That Mighty Thor announcement for the Hero as Guardians just doubled down on what I said earlier in the show, that every single character and every single team that comes out is actually as important as they said it was going to be a year ago when they made that announcement that they didn't want any skippable teams.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, I'll wrap up the show with that. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content there. If you have any thoughts or opinions, you can definitely share it on any comments or join us here live on to Twitch. We'll catch you all again next Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye bye.